The Patriots, a group of eminent Nigerians, are asking President Tinubu to urgently address concerns of the nation as they convene a national emergency CONFAB. And the governor of Edo State, Shehu, says there is no coalition threat in the southwest of Nigeria. Hello everyone, welcome. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I am Shehu Okimbaloye. How is your weekend coming? It's Friday, but let's get talking about the state of the nation and Nigeria's politics. Let's begin by giving you an update of what happened. Let me take you to Edo State first and foremost, where the governor, Monday Okpabolo, says he would probe the administration of his predecessor, Godwin Obaseki. Obaseki, who governed the state from 2016 to 2024 until the election which was conducted, and Okpebolo declared the winner, representing the All Progressives Congress, APC. Governor Okpebolo says his government will set up a commission of inquiry to look into Obaseki's records. He says that these at meeting with party leaders, youths, market women, civil servants, professional bodies, and groups during a victory parade held at the Government House in Benin City.
But let me tell you good news. We are going to look into their record. I'm not going to take more than 2 years. I will take just 2 years out of the whole 8 years. And they will cry. That way, not going back. We will set up commission of inquiry. We will do open interrogation. The whole world will see it.
From Edo State, let me take you to Oyo State, where we are now seeing intensified efforts towards the 2027 politics. And now we're seeing efforts also in strengthening the PDP across the southwest. And the Oyo State Governor, Shehu, says the PDP in the region remains united on all fronts. Mr. Makinde says some of these while answering questions from journalists after an emergency Southwest caucus meeting of the PDP, which took place in Ibadan, the Edo State capital.
Coalition is not a threat to the PDP. Who are these people in this coalition? They've been in some parties before, whether PDP or APC. What are their antecedents? And does it mean that every time they move from one party to the other, they've repented, or they've changed, or they have something new to offer the people? Those are salient questions.
All right, then, let's get into our conversation, our very first one tonight, because we're going to be digging a lot into our nation and the issues that could make it better. Well, it's been described as a bold and urgent step to addressing Nigeria's deepening insecurity and constitutional crisis. A coalition of elder statesmen, national icons, and respected thinkers under the banner of the Patriots, they set to host an emergency national constitutional summit in Abuja. The three-day event, now scheduled to hold between the 15th of July to 17th at the Transcorp Hilton in Abuja, with 100 delegates with support from two former governors, now senators, Aminu Tambuwal and Benga Daniel. Big names are already confirmed. Former President Obasanjo and Jonathan are expected to also speak, while royal and religious leaders like the Sultan of Sokoto, Oni of Ife, and Emira of Kano are also lined up to address the gathering. According to the statement by the Patriots, the Nigerian presidency has confirmed that the National Security Advisor, Mr. Nuhu Ribadu, will speak on behalf of the president, particularly on the growing national security concerns. But this summit is not just about speeches. Organizers say the goal is to chart a real way forward. From Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka to T.Y. Danjuma, Bishop Matthew Kuka, and labor leaders like Joe Ajero, all are coming together to shape what they call a stakeholders legislative bill for constitutional reform. The summit will explore 10 core constitutional issues and produce a blueprint that will be formally submitted and presented to President Bola Tinubu and the National Assembly. Well, the message from the organizer is clear. Nigeria's democracy must be rescued, and this summit may just be a critical step toward that goal. Tonight, I'm being joined by one of the patriots, Professor Mike Ozekhome, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. It's live for us here in our Abuja studio. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Shehu. My pleasure always meeting you, and thank you, Nigerians, for always being there for ourselves, for yourselves, and for the country.
Why another CONFAB? You were at the 2014 CONFAB. The outcome of that CONFAB is gathering dust in some offices at the presidential villa. Now, is this going to be another talk shop?
I think before answering that question, Shehu, let me background the pictures. Lest people think that, oh, these are politicians going to Abuja to try to take power away from those who are in government now or who were in government before. The Patriot is a conglomerate of very eminent, distinguished Nigerians, a kind of a rainbow coalition of the best in the country. You can call them conscience of the nation. When it was founded, it was headed by Chief F.R.A. Williams, Frederick Alade Rotimi Williams, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, that foremost legal Iroko.
Yeah.
After his demise, Professor Mwaboze, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, unarguably the best legal mind and constitutional lawyer to have emerged from the soil of Africa, headed it. And when he died a few years ago, Chief Emeka Anyaoku, now the head, a former Secretary General of the Commonwealth of Nations, a conglomerate of about 56 nations with about 2.5 billion people. He has that. So his name resonates across the globe, very well respected. He's one of those faces of Nigeria outside Nigeria. So that is we are conscious of the nation. We want a Nigeria that we will be proud of. A Nigeria to undergo rebirth. A Nigeria where there will be egalitarianism, unity in diversity, respect for one another. So we are not a partisan group. Among the members are politicians. Among the members are non-politicians like me. You have conservatives, you have liberals, you have very extreme ones among the members, intellectuals, professionals, people accomplished already in their various fields of human endeavor before they decide to come together to found this group. So this group is to help Nigeria. Our job is to unite, not to disintegrate. Our job is to include, not to exclude.
So these are the finest?
The finest.
From every region?
Every region.
Anko Yakasai, yeah. Mike Ozekhome, Wole Soyinka, Matthew Kuka, Bishop Matthew Kuka, and the rest of them.
Bakoba, all of us.
So you're coming together in Abuja. We understand about 700 delegates are built to gather. 3 days, 15th?
16th and 17th.
17th, okay. So the arrival is on the 15th.
Hilton Hotel. Yeah, and then when we meet
every day in 2014, I monitored the CONFAB. You were a very loud voice in the CONFAB. You played a major role under the former president, Goodluck Jonathan. And a lot of people applauded because one thing that was very important, and as a constitutional lawyer, you do know that there is a big of a weakness in the polity based on the framework. But the question I asked earlier, before you gave us that the profile of the patron, is this going to be another talk shop? Why? How is this different from 2014 CONFAB?
We don't want it to be another talk show. It's going to be different in the sense that we have taken proactive steps, not only to recommend, as the 2014 National Conference did, over 600 recommendations by the 492 delegates that were never looked into. We want to recommend and actually push towards enacting a bill to the National Assembly towards the promulgation of a people-driven, autonomous, and legitimate constitution of the people. That is why on the third day, we propose to meet the President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, GCFR, to say, sir, this is where we are. We have this outcome of this summit. Help us to implement. We meet the leadership of the National Assembly. Yes, last year we met Mr. President. He listened to us carefully, but it was his opinion then that yes, your goal, your mission is great, is good. But I do not see it now as the urgency of now. I'm more preoccupied by other matters of state. That was his view. But we are going to push now to say, Mr. President, sir, like we told you that time, you cannot pretend that you can solve these problems with the present fundamentally flawed structure that we have, where we are actually operating a unitary system of government instead of a federal system. For a diverse country, nation like Nigeria, with multi-ethnic groups, different religions, different nuances and cultures, you need a constitution that aggregates them without any of them feeling marginalized. The present constitution does not. The present constitution actually disincentivizes federating units from being productive because too much power is concentrated at the center that has 67 items on the exclusive legislative list. And
you want the president to agree and approve a constitution that will weaken his power?
No, not to weaken his power.
That has been the political dynamics here, because even the National Assembly
have been
very reluctant because they are afraid that all of these, and that has been a problem with restructuring Nigeria. Anyone that is talking about touching up or reviewing the constitution of Nigeria, because it is said that the president of Nigeria is perhaps, within the capacity of power that he has, is probably one of the most powerful people on earth because of the powers available in the constitution to the president.
Yes. You see, the problem is this. We have a problem, a clear and present danger staring us in the face. This is one time the president is going to make a huge sacrifice to show that as one of us, we were in the pro-democracy movement together. You can see some viral video where I will address the public and he will address. It's there in the public domain. This is one time the president, we know that his name will even be better left in historical gold if under him a brand new constitution that addresses our problems is midwifed. He will even be remembered more for that than the building of roads, because it is historic.
All right. Prof.
Yes.
And I dare not engage you in a legal debate.
No.
No.
This is not really a legal matter.
You're a juggernaut, a legal juggernaut. I'm just a dwarf when it comes to legal knowledge. But I'd like to ask and guide us, because this has been the conversation around constitutional review and how we can be able to adopt constitutionalism in the face of birthing a new constitution. How do you exit the present one and enter into a new arrangement?
Yes.
A lot of people will say by a plebiscite.
Yeah.
Do you plebiscite away the first one? What about the lacuna? What happens? Because the president is sworn to uphold this constitution, then you are now asking him to jettison the constitution in which he swore an oath to uphold for another constitution that he never swore to. There is a major constitutional issue here.
Let me tell you how it works. There is no conflict, no confusion. We are not telling the president to simply get up and say, Patriots, I hereby jettison the present constitution. There will be a process. We will introduce a bill. The National Assembly will introduce a bill. The bill will enact what I call a National Referendum Commission, NRC. The National Referendum Commission is going to be the think tank that will organize how this constitution comes into being. And this can be done very quickly. Now, this national, this body is the one that will be responsible for bringing about specialists, constitutional specialists, and representatives of the ethnic groups that will draft a new constitution. The ingredients of the new constitution will be the result of the 2014 National Conference, the 1963 Republican Constitution provisions, which are the best so far because it was very federalist in nature. And then all the amendments that the National Assembly has so far been doing to tell them that their efforts are not in vain, they are not wasted. They will all be distilled by this body.
Will it now be a sixth alteration to the 1999 Constitution?
No.
Or it will now be a 2025 or 2026
now,
Constitution?
when it is done, it will now be subjected to a referendum of the Nigerian people.
By
Each
vote.
item, by vote.
Just like what we saw in
yes
UK,
or no.
where there was a vote
for
on
the
Brexit.
Yeah, Brexit. You know, it was also done on the 10th of August, 1963,
Yeah.
for the Midwest region to exit Western region. So the Nigerian people will vote yes or no to each item. And when they agree, it is this one that will be put in a document called a new constitution and given to Mr. President, which he will promulgate into law. Of course, upon promulgating it into law, the old constitution will cease to exist through an act of the National Assembly that will repeal it. So the National Assembly is central to this. The executive led by Mr. President is central to this. No one is going to rubbish them. No one is going to diminish them.
But of course, I know this is going to be also discussed because there will now also be the exit of the structural framework as captured by the present constitution to allow there will be a timeline, a moratorium of operation of the old one, and exit and enter into the new era.
And then let me tell you, the process by which a constitution comes into being is even more important than the contents of a constitution. The patriots are pushing very hard. Listen to this, and let Nigerians get this very clear. That the present presidential constitution, modeled after America, United States of America, is too expensive for us to maintain. We use about 70 to 80% for our national budget on recurrent expenditure and servicing of debts, leaving only 20 to 30% for capital expenditure. That cannot lead us anywhere. A parliamentary system of government is less expensive, but more effective. The reason is that Mr. President and other aspirants will not need trillions in 2027 to campaign to be president or governors. No, it is the political party under a parliamentary system of government that goes around campaigning for votes, elected their individual members to the National Assembly or Parliament at the center. When they meet there, the party that has the largest number of votes forms the government, either alone or with a coalition.
Just give me a moment, please. My major question for you will be, if we have a new constitution, will it stop the killings in part of the country? Will it take away hunger? Will it resolve our economic problem? Just a moment, I will allow you to answer, but I need to go on a break. And when we come back, of course, I will allow Professor Ozekhome to give us his thoughts on the solution that is this new constitution, or the CONFAB, the emergency CONFAB that are being convened will serve. And afterwards, I will bring in Mr. Garba Shehu, who will be talking about how to package president, a job that he has done for several years. Don't go anywhere, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. What will a new CONFAB do for us? But what the elders see standing on the ground, a young man or a young person, even when he or she climbs the tree, may not be able to see. So when the elders come together and they say there is an urgent need to convene an emergency CONFAB to restructure Nigeria and give it a new focus, well, we need to listen to them. And they are gathering on the 15th to 17th in Abuja. The president is supposed to have a representation there. Professor Michael Ozekhome is one of them, a senior advocate of Nigeria, and try to make sense of what this will do for Nigeria. Yeah. You're making reference to the Republican Constitution of 1963, and you're talking about the way forward for Nigeria. And I was going to ask you a question. Yeah. Will the new constitution or this emergency CONFAB end insecurity in Nigeria? Yeah. People stop people being killed in Nigeria, put food on people's table, make an economy of Nigeria better. Why should Nigerians care?
Yes, I will tell you why. If you remove the central system of government we are having now, the unitary system of government, and make it really federal, that is already a way of devolving power back to the subnational groups, which for now are the federative units. But the patriots see a Nigeria of 7 regions built after the present 6 geopolitical zones. These regions will be able to control their resources as we had pre-15 January 1966. Of course, that brings more money to the table. That brings more jobs to the people, because the people will now control their resources. As Awo did, where he could build the Cocoa House, which is still the tallest in Ibadan today, free education at all levels, University of Ife, now OAU, first television station in Africa. As Ahmadu Bello did in the north, with the Northern Nigeria Development Corporation, and all his achievements are there, as Dennis Osadebe did in the Midwest region, as Zeke and Michael Okpara did in the East. So we are saying that if you decentralize Nigeria with a simple parliamentary system of government, with each region having its own constitution, the people there can cooperate. They now know we are one. We are the same people. We have enough food on our table. We have agreed to be together. It was not imposed on us by a military government. And this is a parliamentary system that is inexpensive to run. There will be more money. Insecurity will vanish. There's no question about that. I give you an example. If you have a problem in your house, your building is cracking, the walls, how do you solve it? Some people have been saying, let us amend the present constitution. Amendment 1 million times cannot solve the problems. What do you do to that building? You don't call a mason, a bricklayer, and say, come and patch these cracks for me on the wall. He will patch them quite
so we don't need amendments. Yeah, we don't need patches any longer, because the president of the day will say he's in fact a chief of restructuring. The local government autonomy is there, and they will say that they are gradually. So what we need is a drastic effort.
A brand new constitution that is autonomous, people driven. You can't amend a bad document, a document that is afflicted by an illness, an ailment. cannot be amended.
Is the constitution a curse to Nigeria's development?
Yeah, for now, as it is, the constitution is a cost of Nigeria's development. We can't move forward. No state is producing. Every state is relying on Abuja. Abuja has become too centralized, too powerful. That is why everybody kills himself to go there. Under a new parliamentary system that we are forecasting, nobody will go to Abuja. For example, regions send their representatives to the parliament at the center. Equal representation. And the regions pay them.
Are you optimistic about the possibility of President Bola Tinubu in this climate to agreeing to your proposal?
I want to believe that President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, a progressive, one of us who fought for Nigeria during the military juntas. In fact, he had to escape Nigeria to save his life during the Nagudeko day. But some of us could not even escape. People like me, Ganifa and me, and others. We stood here. We're seeing bullets. You can see some video online where you will see us being tear gas from the skies. I believe he's patriotic enough. He has the willpower.
If he doesn't, how dangerous would that be?
If it's dangerous, it means that Nigeria will still continue to go in cycles. I was giving the example, the epigram of your walls cracking. What do? You discover that it's a tree that in the compound that is causing the cracks in the wall. You don't just cut off the branches because they will grow back again and the cracks will start. You go to the tree and uproot it. Root and branch.
It's an urgency of now.
It's the urgency of now.
Because is either we do it now or perish.
Or, I will not say perish. We will continue to suffer the fate of the Baba's chair.
The word perish. People are dying. In one day you see almost 100 over 100 people.
I think so.
Yeah. And if you say that constitution will fix killing, it will fix hunger.
Fix hunger.
Then we survive.
Fix injustice.
So it will stop us from
perishing.
Perish might sound like a harsh word, but that's the reality.
That's the reality. And the absence of it.
I'm happy that this will solve our problems. If that is truly...
It will, and I can tell you, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu knows that it will solve our problem. Because in the past, he was one of us who was crusading for a brand new constitution.
Professor,
so I do not think anything would have changed. I do not think that power would have corrupted him in government to lose this progressive bent that we have known him for. If he does it, I can assure you, more than any achievement he would have done during his term, he will be remembered by history.
Professor Michael Ozekhome, thank you so much indeed for your time. I'm looking forward to it. We followed all through the 2014 CONFAB.
Yes.
Amongst all of the conferences that Nigeria has had, let's focus on the future and see how this will work. Thank you so much indeed for coming tonight.
So we dare to look into the future. We dare to challenge. Hypocrites, the father of mercy, says desperate diseases require desperate remedies. And Albert Einstein says it's only a fool, someone who does not know, who wants to solve a problem by using the same method with which it was created. So we need a new system, a new bent.
Well, that's what I'm saying that wise men will come to Abuja. We'll be looking forward to that. And the Edo State men, eminent Nigerians in all ramifications. Thank you so much, Professor Michael Ozekhome, for coming tonight.
I want to thank Chief Emeka Anyaku GCOM, who was at the age of 91 years. He's driving this process.
Still pushing.
Yes, still pushing. What do you think he needs in life?
Absolutely.
He wants to buy a car. But he knows that things are wrong. We know that things are wrong. You, Okimbaloye, knows that things are wrong. The average Nigerian knows that things are wrong. But what they do not know is how to solve them. Now, the Petros is now waving. It's a magical wand that
to resolving. All right, we'll look forward to that.
I have a Nigeria of rebate.
We need to, we need to take another break, everyone.
By the way, we call National Risorgimento. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you so much indeed, Chief Michael Ozekhome. We take another break, and when we come back, our former presidential spokesperson, Mr. Garba Shehu, will be joining me. Thank you so much. And now we turn the spotlight in the corridors of power. This time through the lens of one of Nigeria's most prominent presidential spokesperson, Mr. Garba Shehu, who served as Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to President Muhammadu Buhari for 8 eventful years. His new book, according to the president, Lessons from a Presidential Spokesman's Experience, is already generating debate within political and media circles. It is an insider's account of power, perception, pressure, and the politics of statecraft. In his reflective memoir, Garba Shehu opens up on the triumphs and the trials of managing presidential messaging in a deeply polarized and fast-moving media landscape, while giving rare insight into the inner workings of Aso Rock during some of the nation's most turbulent moments, including the NSAS protests, the COVID-19 pandemic, and critical national security decisions. But beyond the headlines and press releases, what truly defines the legacy of presidential communication under the Buhari administration? How did Shehu navigate moments of national crisis, including backlash over silence or perceived opacity? And what does he now say about the criticisms often directed at the administration's public posture? From his encounters with the press to sensitive matters of national unity, democracy, and a growing distrust in government. Let's now speak with Mr. Shehu on his reflection on the time when he was in power. The book is here with me. I had only a few hours to go through, but it was quite an interesting read. Well, I'm Garba Shehu. It's good to see you.
Good to see you after 2 years.
You've not changed a bit.
Well, we're having a lot of rest because the pressure has moved away from us. Others are the ones
it looks like the demons in the presidential villa, free from the demons of the presidential villa. Ruben Abati says as much.
Ask Ruben. We didn't see them. Maybe he chased them out. You know, Ruben is a powerful man as well. Maybe he chased them.
You got some marabouts to help you, ward them off.
No, I think Ruben cleaned up the place and we found that it was habitable, all right for daily business.
All right.
So we're okay throughout.
Has it been out of prominence and public spotlight?
It's a lot of pressure that is removed off your shoulders. As the one philosopher said, it is the cup that they follow. If they remove it from your head and put it on another man's head, they would follow that person. So we are free of all of that now.
Wow. Well, you still speak for President Buhari. You still close to him.
Occasionally and certainly selectively also. We are not engaging in the manner that we used to.
Okay. So your loyalty still lies with him?
Oh, absolutely. We're together.
How do you balance it? A lot of people don't know that you were a very close man to Atiku Abubakar.
Yeah, he was my boss.
In fact, you were seconded from Atiku Abubakar to work with Buhari.
I don't know what to call it. I'm not sure seconded is because seconded.
But you were gifted.
Like a football player, maybe after a season you will go back to your. I think that was something like that. Yes, because the assets they had for media and communications, not himself, including Shehu and all of the candidates who lost that primary to Muhammad Buhari, they said, "Go, you work for him," and graciously. Muhammad Buhari found me worthy of leading his presidential campaign, and when we won, he gave me a job. So that's where we are.
So how did you manage? Because there are times that Atiku came after your government that you were speaking for under Buhari, and the maturity of, because at some point we now see Femi Adesina, the one issuing the statement when it concerns Atiku Abubakar. I think that was smart.
Yeah, and there were others also Femi would not go against. So there was wisdom in having two of us working for the president. So where he would not go, I would go. And where I would not go, he would go.
Well, again, one of the things that I saw that was quite interesting was, see, the people of your caliber, both you and Femi Adesina, both of you I know quite well. And you know my relationship with you.
Yeah, long time.
Long time. And I know Femi Adesina very well. Femi Adesina exited being the president of the guild. You have been the president of the guild
16 years earlier.
And there are those of us who think that you're perhaps more senior to Femi Adesina on the job.
Well, he did a bigger newspaper than I did. But yes, if you're talking about the guild, yes, I was there earlier than him. But our friendship also predated our being in the villa. We had been friends with Femi Adesina. When I was president of the guild, Femi was one of my hench people. So they put me there, and we worked. So we gave every assurance. People were concerned. I said that to the event is, Governor Fayemi called us and said, "Look, you people will fight." I said, "No, there won't be a fight." He said he will fight. And we didn't fight. As I said, it's like two men sharing one wife, and They didn't quarrel over anything.
But how was that?
It was all right. That was respect.
Are you still good friends, huh?
Femi was officiating at my event yesterday at the book launch. So that tells you how close we are. And I did officiate at his own book launch. Yeah.
So you became more or less like a twin
I believe,
when you were working together.
Yeah.
But how is President Buhari, though? We all understand that he was hospitalized recently, a few days ago. Has he been discharged?
Yes, not as intense as it was reported. He was hospitalized. Now he's being cared for. He's in a recovery mode now. And with each day he gets better. But until it is all over, you can't say it is over.
Hearts with him, and we hope that he fully recovers.
Because
that man looked like a brand new man after he got out of office.
He looked much better than before he became president. Yeah. That's true.
I mean, I wonder, is there something in Daura and on his farm that the man eats or feeds on that makes him look absolutely different? President Buhari is over 80 now, isn't he?
Yeah, 82.
Wow.
But he eats healthily, and he exercises regularly. See, at the farm in Daura, 4 days in a week, you did 1 to 1.5 hours of rigorous walking all around the farm. And even in the UK, when he went on the vacation and the medical check, before he fell ill, he plodded the streets, and he liked doing that. Yeah. So he exercises very well, and he eats good things that doctors will approve.
I mean, now that you are out of office, I mean, and the president is better now, what did they put in the air condition that made the president sick?
No, I'm not aware of that. Then, I'm not aware that there was anything in air conditioner that made him sick.
What made him
honest,
sick?
Nobody took me into confidence into that.
On that?
I never had discussed what was the nature of the ailment and what caused it.
Up to now?
I'm being honest with you.
Were you able to ask him?
I have never asked him. And it was not him.
Well, he told the nation that he was very sick.
Yeah,
that he thought he was.
He said it himself.
He had lost the battle.
Yeah. But again, also, the medical health of individuals, you and I, is private. And as much as possible, we keep it private. We keep it private.
But there are a lot of suspicion in the villa at the time. That those who are close to him and the manner in which security now looked at everyone, there were a lot of suspicion. And of course, you know, as a journalist, we have our insider information.
There was nothing that wasn't said. You know that at some point it was that he had died or he had to be replaced by Jibril of Sudan.
What about the Jibril?
Well, that's those who orchestrated the nonsense.
Because people were looking out for the ear, the left or the right ear. And,
the same one.
The same one. But what was different from the Buhari before he was sick and the Buhari that came back from treatment?
Wow, it's difficult to say. But I think that there were far more restrictions on... Because Buhari read everything. He walked very late into the night. I think after his return, there were greater controls put in place. They made sure that his engagements ended at a time that could be described as being decent. So a lot of the pressure, we at the level of officials around him, we tried to regulate all of that. Of course, there were breaches. When they said no visitors after 11 p.m., for instance, you'll still find that maybe some family members would sneak in someone, you know, from inside the compound. Or there's somebody, you know, just drops from nowhere, and they must be seen. But there were far more controls, you know, on his really having to do so much, given age and the situation he had just gone through.
How did the cabal took over that government so badly?
No, don't look. Let me tell you, this thing about cabal is just sheer nonsense. No, but let me tell you, Buhari is a military general, even when he became a converted Democrat. He was used to giving orders and not taking them from anybody. So I tell you that I have not known one person who will give you 100 assurance that when I tell Buhari ABC is black, he will say ABC is black. No. He had his own mind.
But there are family members who are part of the cabals who are living permanently in the villa.
No, you could have anybody around you. People can come, they can advise you. But the buck stopped on his table. I tell you that nobody can guarantee. Call any name, I will tell you. Nobody will tell you with certainty, 100%, that if I tell Buhari ABC, he will accept. That's not the Buhari who works.
But I mean, and there are those who, and in some of the reflections you made here as to the person and the nature of the president, and I'm curious though, there were consistent accusations that the presidency under Buhari was insulated and aloof from public engagement. And as this media advisor, were you ever overruled, ignored, or cautioned against addressing the nation during crisis?
Let me tell you, leaders come with their own character and the nature of doing things into office. They cannot all be the same. People used to attack us for not presenting the president for media chat, for instance, on television. That media chat suited somebody like President Olusegun Obasanjo, who invented it, with this manner of dramatizing and theatricals and all of that. It suited him. After him, who did it suit? Certainly not President Erdogan, not President Jonathan. So, and I've said this over and over again, Buhari was never a show person. That's not a showman. And don't forget also the fact that he had his own tangle as a military leader with the media. Back then when he was military head of state. And the thing then is, when it was the media, usually Buhari would say to Iron, they are your people, that's their own. And he gave us respect for that. Because he didn't want what happened in 1984 to come back all over again. Certainly not, that's not what he wanted.
Because, and I'm wondering, because one will now wonder, there are those who say the president was not aware of certain key national issues at critical times. How often did this happen? And does your book reveal whether there were internal limitations to the president's control of his government?
No, absolutely zero. This is not true.
So it was full control.
I will say with all emphasis before you that President Muhammadu Buhari will be assessed, if it could be done, perhaps as the most aware president this country had.
Even though he appointed ministers, and some ministers never met him in 4 years.
No, it didn't happen with Buhari. No, it didn't happen.
I mean, I've had interviews with ministers who said, look, Buhari will allow you to do anything.
No.
And he never checked.
Presence in your office. That is what he meant. I saw that interview. Former Minister of Communications. Buhari wasn't meddlesome. He never pretended as if he owned Nigeria. He wasn't a dictator.
But why was the perception, though, that he actually helped Atiku Abubakar against a candidate Tinubu
in which respect?
In the 2023 election?
No, it is absolute. That is, somebody must have seen that in their dream. It didn't happen. I sat with President Bola Tinubu after his victory. He told me that President Buhari allowed me to win in a free and fair election. There
was a perception of reluctance.
Don't mind people.
A perception
of people who are seeking favors, who want to ingratiate themselves to leaders. They can say all manner of things. President Buhari had everything. He had the secret service. He could say what he wanted to the governors. He allowed the free flow.
But again, Malam, there are, and I know more than 5 people who the president told to go and run.
No.
He told Oshibajo, go and run. Amechi, go and run.
He didn't direct them.
No, they consulted him that they wanted to be president, and he told them to run.
And you expect him to say, don't run?
But the people, there are a lot of people who thought that as a president.
No.
Because you remember in the interview that I had with him and my colleague, Maokwe, the president said, if I mention the person I want now, they might kill him before.
Which is true. Which is true.
But who was the president's candidate then? We sure know that it wasn't Bola Tinubu.
Each one who came before him, he gave him a certificate of no objection. You want to run? Thank you, Warren. And don't forget that even among that crowd of people who went for the primaries, there was one that he saw very close to him, and at some point he was saying, look at this thing. Everyone had come to inform me that they would run, not this one particular minister who I...
Do you know the joke that they said, Buhari's 2015 statement that I belong to everyone,
and
I
to
belong to no one.
Yeah.
That was the politics he played.
Yeah,
and a lot of people feel very aggrieved that he was not truthful to them.
No. But he played true to type. He did not seek to dictate, and he allowed he said the party will decide. We gave a statement, and it was proven there.
Which was your best? Okay.
Name droppers could have said anything, but certainly, and using his own name, but never him directly.
Speaking from the presidential villa, which was your best time? Speaking under Buhari or speaking with Atiku for Atiku?
Under Atiku, we were fighting for the political life of the boss, whose same government was trying to destroy his politics, destroy his family and his business. In the case of Buhari, okay, we were the ones who were being fought. But at least you had the structure, the infrastructure of the state to help you to fight back. So how can you compare this one that they took you to Kuje prison and they brought blood pressure to your family? How can you...
If there was one thing that you could have undone during your time speaking for presidents, what would that be?
I would have I've done more speaking for the president than I had. But then, as I said, at some point, there was also a sense that courtiers won't see you as being genuine, as being good enough to be where you are. This is something a challenge people at that level have to contend with.
Did you ever lie for the president?
Somebody, I just read one story, they said I was trying to lie. And this thing about spinning the rat story, I didn't lie. There was a story that rats had eaten cables in the president's office. And therefore, when I was trying to explain why the president was operating from home, I said the rats ate his cables in the office. It happened. And it was to provide a basis of discussion, at least away from that moment when people were speculating that he was not good enough to continue as president or having been ill. But it's all right. It's a spin, and it backfired. So people should learn from what we did.
Yeah. Spinning, packaging, and representing the president is not the easiest job at all.
Absolutely.
But congratulations, Madam Garba Shehu, putting this down and getting your views and your experience into a book for learning and for others to also learn from your past experience. But it's good to see you again.
Thank you for friendship.
Thank you so much indeed.
And your doggedness.
It was not the easiest one. I know I have friends in some of you who are in the villa, and I have to do countdown every day to ask, where is President Bola Tinubu? And sometimes you call me, Shehu, what are you doing? This countdown you are doing. But we have to do our job.
Yeah.
But it's good, and we can laugh afterwards. Thank you so much.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
But that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Shehu Okimbaloye. On Sunday, have a revealing conversation, an interview exclusive to us right here on Channels Television. Don't miss it, 8 p.m. on Sunday. Bye for now, everyone.